Welcome to the Nightly Rant
with
your
hosts,
Mike.
and Torya.
This is the show where we examine society from a sarcastic point of view.
If you like insane conversations, this is definitely the show for you.
Let's get into today's topic. YPN people, I don't know about you, but I love helping out a friend. That's why I want to shout out my friend Brian Little and his podcast, Your Favorite Blockhead. This is the only show that manages to weave together peanuts and MMA into one heck of an amazing podcast. You can find Your Favorite Blockhead wherever your favorite podcasts reside and at yourfavoriteblockhead.com. Do me a huge favor and listen to Brian's show. You'll be entertained and you'll help out a friend. Now, as I said, let's get into today's topic. All right, so I have to paint the visual because people at home can't see. But I have this guy here in a banana suit.
A banana suit?
I have a giant banana right in front of me. And, you know, this is Jordan Lamb. He's the host of Jordan Mode. It's kind of a funny show because he interviews people in the banana suit. And I think at first it strikes you like, I'm just going to be honest. How dumb is that? Why would somebody sit there and interview people in a banana suit? But then the more you go with it, if you keep an open mind, it's kind of funny. I mean, it actually is kind of funny. So what got you started with a banana suit?
I like that you say kind of, but first off, I started with a banana suit because it's like, well, it caught my eye. It was like the one for me. I was in a Halloween store. I walked in. I didn't know what to get. Then I saw a banana costume, and it was just history ever since. Like, I think it's crazy. No one wears a banana. I was gonna swear just then, but I wasn't sure if I could.
Swear all you want, friend.
It'd be
swearing
okay.
banana has never been on
So I
our
was
show
like,
before.
I was like, what the fuck? No one's a banana? No one's a fruit? Like, people are so uninteresting. Like, what's going on here? I don't want to live in a world where no one's a banana. So I guess that's my role now.
Okay. That's an interesting response to that question, by the way, because it still kind of doesn't explain why you would get there, because you're saying that you don't want to live in a world where there's no one who's a banana. Well, what drives that? Like, where does that come from?
I suppose I've always been the weird, quirky kid. I think when you look at me, does it look like I'm self-conscious about being a banana? I feel like this should inspire
You
you
look very
in some
comfortable
way.
as a banana.
Yeah, this should inspire you to become like a watermelon or a mango or something,
I was
or
a pizza
something
once.
wacky.
I was a pepperoni
Yeah, be a pizza.
Yeah, she was a pepperoni pizza once.
Mm-hmm. I was
Keep it up.
I was going to come to this podcast dressed as my pizza costume, but I got rid of it when we moved. So,
Damn.
You're one of those, I'll never use this again. And then, of course, probably we're going to see 35 times where we could have used that pepperoni pizza suit.
Yeah.
But they're cheap and they're out every Halloween, so we'll be able to get a new one.
Yeah.
But okay, so that's interesting. I mean, that's a good perspective. You're basically saying be different.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody doesn't have to conform and be the same thing. You can be whatever you want to be. And that's that. And it makes it more entertaining and it makes a person more interesting. And that's basically what I'm hearing you say.
Yeah, and it kind of lowers their guard. Cuz okay, if I went here without my costume, even if it's not a video podcast, I think you would act differently toward me, because you said you've seen a couple of my YouTube videos where I have the banana costume on. So if I just showed up here without the costume, you'd be like, "What the fuck, Jordan? What's going on here? Like, why are you acting different?" So, and it's like it goes around for everything I do. Like, it's me now. This is my skin, okay? Without it, I'm just a skeleton.
do you only?
But dude, that makes so much sense. Go ahead,
Do you
honey.
only wear it for podcasting, or is the banana suit like part of your everyday life too?
No, it's only for podcasting at the moment.
I feel
Yeah.
like you should wear the thing to like the park to walk your dog if you have a dog, or like to go to like a dance club. It could be great fun. I think everybody would
Yeah.
be attracted
Only
to a
if you're,
dancing banana.
only if you're, in my opinion, though, only if you're capturing that for content, because that's, basically what he's saying. He's using that for entertainment value, and I love
think it's
that idea
fantastic.
because that's the thing. I was honest. I see the initial video and I go, "What on God's green earth is this guy doing?" I seen a banana suit, and then you kind of don't listen to what the guy's saying, right?
Yeah.
But then you see like the reactions of the people are kind of genuine. Like if they're laughing, they're sort of genuine. It seems that way. You can't tell for sure, but it just seems like they're genuine.
Yeah. That's what I try to get.
You dig in a little deeper and you're like, okay, let's listen to this guy. Now you're past the banana part. Nobody cares anymore about the banana part. Now we're connecting on your message. So in a way, it's a great tool too, because it pulls you in, it grabs your attention. I mean, who's going to miss it? So it grabs your attention. And then after that, they're willing to maybe engage a little more with you and what you have to say.
Yeah.
And that's a
Exactly.
powerful
A+
thing.
icebreaker. 10 out of 10.
Exactly. Icebreaker. That's pretty much the purpose. Yeah.
Yeah, and it works. It really does. I mean, like I said, you see that switch over, but people have to just have an open mind. Too many people are kind of bigoted about things like that, and they're just like, "Oh my God, that's a lunatic. That guy's crazy." Why? I mean, just because you chose to wear a banana suit. I mean, what about the people? Gosh, we live in Vegas, and there's people, 24 hours a day, they're running around in Spider-Man costume. How's that? How's that any different? But yet those people are okay. We're not going to call them crazy.
Banana's less creepy, not going to lie.
I think so too.
Right.
I think so, because we know there's no such thing as a walking, talking banana. We all know this. So you get it immediately that it's not supposed to be reality.
Yeah.
Whereas with the Spider-Man, they're alleging that there's really a Spider-Man, and here he is. Of course, he's always this scrawny little dude that doesn't really look like Spider-Man, but hey, that's a different story. So anyway, we have a regular segment that we do, and that's a really interesting story of yours. I really think so. And I say keep going for it, man, because it's funny. It just is.
Thanks.
And in the beginning, like I said in the beginning, I thought it was sort of funny, but then when I listen more, it's just funny. It just is.
I like people who aren't afraid to be themselves. It's a great time.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. And that's our mantra.
Yeah. I love it.
So let's hear what Torya has come up with for the Am I the Asshole segment.
Alrighty. Well, am I the asshole for smoking on my patio? I live in a basement apartment in a house with neighbors on either side. The houses themselves have about 15 feet of distance between them. I smoke cannabis on my back patio when I come home from work, which is around 6 p.m. Monday to Friday. Cannabis is legal because I live in Canada, and there's nothing in my rental agreement that prohibits me from smoking on the property that I rent. I like this dude. He gives all the details so that all the commenters have to shut the heck up. Last week, my neighbors, a couple in their 70s, and very nice people in the limited interactions I've had with them, took it upon themselves to call my landlord and complain that I smoke cannabis at all hours of the night and it's affecting their health. They complained that they like to sleep with their window open and that the smoke kept them up from 3:30 in the morning. Now, I work a job that requires me to leave my house at 6 a.m. I'm not going to be up and smoking at 3:30. So my landlord came to my home while I was at work and spoke to my wife, very shy and does not deal with confrontation well whatsoever, to whom she said that she would suggest that I cross the street to the parking lot when I want to smoke. I refuse. I will not be crossing the road, and I will continue to smoke on my back patio when I come home from work. My feeling on the matter is that they can shut their window if it bothers them, and I pay rent the same as they do. I may have had a different outlook had my neighbor spoken to me instead of the landlord, or if my neighbor had spoken to me instead of my wife, but they didn't. My wife does not smoke and has nothing to do with my habits, and I like to consider myself a reasonable person, and I would absolutely go out of my way to help other people. Am I the asshole?
What do you think, Jordan?
Not the asshole. Easy dub. Next, do I really? Okay, so I'll explain.
So why?
All right. This dude lives there. He pays rent. He comes home from work at 6 p.m. They could literally shut the window And okay, I don't know if you guys have ever partaked. I don't know if that's a word in smoking cannabis, but it's. Oh shit, dude! Just shut the window. It feels like you guys could have had a conversation before they talked to the landlord as well. Like you could have discussed it. You could have reached a mutual agreement. You could have been friends in the end. But it feels like because of this little battle you've got going on, it feels like it's distanced you as neighbors apart. And I think it all really stems from ignorance. What do you guys think?
I think that too often people look at a situation like this and they think, oh, it's obvious he's the asshole. I mean, he should have more respect for these people's health. But first of all, when you live in an apartment kind of living, there's a period of time where, your public activities are allowed. You can be a little louder, you can have your windows open, and if you can hear your TV, it's all okay. And that runs from blah, blah, blah to usually 10 o'clock at night. And then after that, it's considered a problem. Well, he was within that time. So you're right. They could have just closed the window and it wouldn't have been a problem. But the biggest part of it to me that makes them the asshole is that they didn't come to him to talk to him about what was bothering them, about him. I mean, there's a lot of hims there, right? Because it's all aimed at the guy. But why did they go talk to somebody else? They did it because they wanted to cause trouble immediately. And that is what makes them the asshole. If they had just come and talked, you're right. They could have been best friends. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's
just communication.
I mean, us as older people partake as well. So,
right.
What? maybe they do too. Who knows? But just weird. That's a weird one.
Well,
what say you,
So
Torya?
I picked this one because I agree with both of you that this dude is not the asshole. And I thought this was a slam dunk, not the asshole, okay? Slam dunk. There's no way. And then I scrolled down and I see the final verdict that they always post after these. 39% of people think this dude's the asshole. I didn't know that many geriatric lunatics went on Reddit.
39%?
Well, I mean, they're just wrong. It's just, you just got to accept the facts.
I mean,
it's crazy.
It reminds me of the fight that my dad and my brother have. They live together in Canada, again, where, marijuana is legal. And my dad is about the same age as these people complaining. And my brother's probably around the same age to the person doing the smoking. And they have this constant battle, but they came to an agreement that he's not allowed to grow his plants in the house. He's not allowed to smoke it in the house. He has to go outside, even when it's minus 40. And they came to a mutual understanding. These people could have done the same thing. Bunch of lunatics.
But that's exactly, it's totally fair. And if he were to say hey man, I'm going to be smoking, if they had come and talked to him and he could say, look, I come home every night at 6 and I smoke from 6 to 6:30. Well, then they know that probably keep the window shut between 10 minutes to 6 until 10 minutes to 7. And then he's keeping on his word. They're keeping on their word, and they're not going to have a problem. That's how you work together as neighbors. But too many damn fucking people think that, I pay the rent here, so I get to do whatever I want to do, which of course isn't true, because on the flip side, then they want to also tell us what we're supposed to do. And it just doesn't work that way. It's not a consistent way to think about the problem.
Would these people,
on the one hand,
would these people have the same problem if the dude was smoking regular cigarettes on his patio, like so many people do? And you know what I do when people smoke their cigarettes out on their patio?
It's a good question.
I close my freaking windows because I'm not a child.
Well, I was thinking, that's exactly, it's funny. We had this situation, Jordan, where we used to live. We were at upper floor apartment and these people moved in below us and he smoked both cigarettes and pot all the time. And if it was really bad, during the day or something, we would just close the window and turn on the air conditioner. So that way, we didn't deal with it. We weren't complaining and crying to anybody. because we were adults about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key is you do your thing, but you got to let them do their thing. And then wherever it kind of overlaps, you got to kind of cut it in the middle where the two meet. That's it. That's the only fair way to do it. So.
I feel like this.
Well, that's interesting that we all agreed on what he's the asshole.
I feel like the same logic could be applied here as those people who just burn popcorn in their microwave. That stink never goes away, and it wafts through the entire building. Your neighbors are going to smell it, but is that dude the asshole for accidentally burning his popcorn? No.
No.
And again, that's on accident. It's like, if it's on purpose, then you're a fucking idiot. But
maybe he likes
accident. It's cool. Yeah.
What was like a good like representative comment of that 39% who say the guy's the asshole? I think that would be interesting to hear.
But then I want to know if you think this commenter's the asshole. First off, as a fellow Canadian who has health problems consistently aggravated by weed-smoking neighbors since it was legalized, you clearly have no idea how strong and lingering the smell is, or how intrusive or how big of an issue it can be for other people, or you don't care, which makes you an asshole by itself.
Eye roll.
I know, right? My neighbor smoking weed regularly has done everything from massively contribute to my migraines to leaving my apartment and everything in it absolutely reeking of weed, to the point that I had to pay hundreds of dollars for an air purifier. To, much like your neighbors, waking me up in the wee hours of the morning from the absolute stench from outside when they're smoking on their balcony. I could go on, but then they said, by your rationale, despite you being clearly belligerent and aggressive about your right to smoke wherever you want, your wife had to deal with your obnoxious landlord. So then they say that he's an asshole because the landlord came to talk to their wife. I can't. I don't know why I clicked on this comment.
Yeah, people always misdirect where the anger belongs in situations like this, in my opinion. I think it's usually very simple. If you assume good intentions from people, then it's pretty simple where the problem lies in pretty much any situation if you're consistently applying the same rule. And I think every time it comes back that he's not the asshole. I don't see how he can be the asshole.
Yeah, I don't see it either.
The only way he could be the asshole is if the story was different. But with those facts, we have to assume that what he said is true. With those facts, he's not the asshole. There's no way in hell. And we all agree on that, I think.
Final answer, not the asshole. He laid down every piece of the puzzle. He every stone was turned, and it's easy.
He's clearly a frequenter of the Am I the Asshole Reddit, because he pre-answered all of the questions that always come up in the comments where they're like, you didn't give us the whole story, blah, blah, blah. So.
Yeah, that's pretty damn funny.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that was my
all
slam
right.
dunk of an Am I the Asshole for the day.
That was a fun one. So, Jordan, why don't you tell people where they can find you?
Yeah,
as we run out of time here.
So find me podcast Jordan Mode. You can listen on every platform. Trust me, like anywhere you listen to podcasts. Follow on Instagram, Jordan Mode. And that's it. I guess listen to the Nightly Rant too. Follow them. Do everything they're doing. Support them.
Awesome. Well, we agree. We should support one another. We all help one another. And it's like, I think everybody's podcast, you could have two podcasts that are about baseball, but the way the direction they're come at is different. Mm-hmm. And so some people are attracted to one, others are attracted to the other. And that's why I think it's kind of like religion and churches. If they're all worshiping this same God, why do they care which one of those churches you go to?
Yes, exactly.
We're all playing for the same team, so we got to help each other out. And I think that's really the crux of it all. You're a funny dude. I'm going to go check out the show some more. But from what I saw, it was hilarious. So
okay, it's kind of funny. Not funny though. It's kind of
He's going to go back to that again. Kind of funny. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's kind of like saying, if I said it was funny, that's giving you a 10 out of 10. And I don't give 10s, unfortunately. I'm one of those assholes that does
I'm
that.
gonna write an AITA.
You'd have to. I mean, I shouldn't ever say don't, because someone could blow me away one day and they'll get a 10. But then other people go, but you said you didn't give a 10. So there you go. I've clarified. Someone could blow me away and give a 10. But hey, getting a high score is getting a high score.
True. Okay.
And I think, I let me tell you, when people say something nice about me, I'll say, could you say that again? Because you hear it that few times, right? So it's just always nice to tell people when you think they have done a good job. And I think you've done a good job, man.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I think that's all we got for tonight, right? So definitely, follow Jordan everywhere he said. I also found him on YouTube real easily, and that's a great way to watch. I spend probably 90% of my time at the television in front of YouTube just because I like that. It also helps fuel the topics for our show. So it's time well spent. So I think that's a great place for people to go listen and watch. Help support each other. That's it. What do you say, Torya?
Well, on that super exciting note, good night, everyone.
Hasta la bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the Nightly Rant.
If you enjoyed the show, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Google Play.
If you didn't enjoy the show, please just ignore that previous request for a rating.
This has been a Yogi's Podcast Network production.